You're listening to the RFBL Report with your hosts, Bear and Pat Downsky.
I only realised when I was up in Wolverhampton, the New Forest owner is an absolute cuck.
Truly, the rich get richer.
Juice, because I only drink juice.
We got some typical Peking bullshit.
Here comes 5th place New Forest.
He's cagey, he gets on base, he's a consummate pro.
Warning, things are about to get weird.
Greetings, salutations, welcome back to another one of the RFBL reports. I am Pat Downsky, and joining me from across the pond, the one, the only...
Ursa Major.
Ursa Major himself. It's the Bear.
It's the Bear.
The man who might be leaving a rebuild, or...
Some sort of renaissance.
The perpetual rebuild, right? The perpetual rebuild might finally be approaching its finale.
No. One more piece to go. Where's one more piece?
Yeah, well, we are at opening day in spring. What is it? Hope springs eternal. That's the turn of phrase. We've had some preseason predictions. We had, I don't even know who won last year. Was Springfield again or something?
Yeah, it was Springfield.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on.
Moving along. We gotta be brisk. I need to watch the Leafs disappoint me. Oh, as I said that, holy. Anyways, and Nick's rubbing it in because it's a player I hate. Exceptional.
Already. It's already starting.
It does not take long. I'm looking at these preseason predictions, and they're probably off. I don't know how many years out of date they are. Yeah, there it is. Juan Gonzalez is on my team, so maybe that's last year's.
Yeah.
I was just laughing because I was like, me projected for 97 wins? Holy
moly.
To start the year. But do we want to go through like kind of divisions and who went where, why, how, what we think the division's going to do? I think we did that last year, right? That's easy to follow.
Yeah, you can't really cock it up then, can you?
Well, always
but,
can.
Yeah. I think we went alphabetical order last time. I think we went from Beijing.
Really?
Yeah.
I like alternating it so people actually have to listen. We do it the same way, they're going to be able to skip to where they expect to hear about themselves.
Yeah, what we're gonna do next time is I'm gonna start writing names on a piece of paper and draw them out of a hat.
Oh, nice.
I'll
spin a wheel, baby.
I've got a Blue Jays hat and a Montreal Canadiens hat. So.
Well, do it out of the Jays hat, because
you don't want the bad luck of talking about yourself last.
Man, yeah, I don't know. It's also like I don't need any hockey bad luck. I don't need any bad vibes. I'm bringing enough to the table, man.
I mean, just look the team that you follow or support.
Yeah, cursed in franchise. Anyways, we could do that. Like alpha through the divisions, or I liked the idea of going with the division where the winning team came from first.
Yep. So we start with the Central Division.
Hear thoughts about the Asian division or whatever. So CL Central, Springfield. Do we want to start with the champs themselves?
Might as well.
Yeah.
Always start with the winners.
Let's go. I don't know if they added anything this offseason. I'm looking, and it's approximately neutral. They added stuff. They lost stuff. I just mean it's approximately neutral. This has been a neutral offseason. They signed a bad catcher who will inexplicably be amazing for them. They signed Søren Karstensen, who has been an effective reliever for a few years running with Kirkland and last year with Hannibal.
Oh yeah, I was looking at signing that guy.
I think he might be using him as a starter.
He is at the moment. It looks like.
Okay. Bold move.
Yep, he's.
Fortune favors the bold, and often, might I add.
He's number 3 in the starting rotation. So yeah.
There you go, Angel Ante, who is a second baseman / center fielder.
Oh, I remember him. He played for the Bears.
A former Bear.
These
are all. Sorry.
he's a left-handed, like main left-hand, like good against left-handed pitchers primarily.
Yeah.
That's what I remember because this is what was it? It was like second baseman you sent me that hit bombs.
Leandro.
Yeah.
Leandro.
Yeah. So Ante was the opposite for him, the platoon.
Yeah. He got a really good deal on Magnus Edlund. I really like Magnus Edlund. He has been a very reasonably effective reliever for not a lot of money for a very long time, but that's another. I think that's a savvy ad.
And he's Iron Man.
Kelbakov. And he's Iron Man, indeed. When everybody else's arm falls off, not Edlund. Although, like now that I've said that, kiss of death.
Cursed.
Makar Kelbakov.
Yep.
Reasonable guy. He's holding up a little bit better than some of my old guys, like Capone faded to dust in spring training.
At the moment, he's in AAA though, so.
Oh, there you go. Maybe he faded a little bit further since time of recording. But, I don't know. Tidy off season, it's fine.
He's lost.
Give a grade to it too, or what are we doing?
He lost a bit of velocity in the off season, so
there you go.
he's falling by the wayside. I would say it's a C. It's like
it's fine.
It's
I think he could. I don't know if you're going to get the same performance out of our reeled. I wanted to say Arland. Our reeled Peterson. Like he was a Silver Slugger shortstop. I guess he's been a Silver Slugger shortstop before. That's weird. He was just like unbelievably good last season. Unbelievably good for a guy with very average kind of attributes, and who doesn't hit lefties. So I mean, good on him for having that guy playing the field, doing well. I don't know if you're going to get the same season out of that, but there you go. Luis Vidal is a star. Like he really was very strong last year, even as Sukwon Lee is falling off a little bit. Not quite the annual MVP that he was before. This is a team that they can definitely beat you, as we saw last year, but I don't think that they are
a force
favorite.
They're not a force that they once were. I think it's the best words to say.
I didn't think they were going to win last year, and then they just did. And you know, good on them. Sometimes you just go on a miracle run, you know. And they've got a good enough rotation. They've got a good enough bullpen. They tend to win a lot of one-run games.
Yeah, I think the important question we must ask is, what would it scale on the Redondo BS title win?
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Is it worthy of a 5-star BS World Series victory?
I don't have his metrics. I don't have Austin's metrics for how BS a win is. So I couldn't begin to speak as to what we think that would mean. But just looking at this, maybe Thomas Christensen finally breaks through, play some games. That could be a thing.
Yep.
Like this team definitely has some horses here, and they could be very good once again. Where do we think they rank within the division?
I think second at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's
like
what
the monkeys. The monkeys are pretty reasonable.
I think the Monkeys or the Hillbillies probably are one of the two better teams.
I don't know about the Hillbillies off season. You know what I mean? Like they lost a lot of talent. They watched a lot of talent go. And they added a couple guys. They added Sung Ho Lee.
But we'll get to the Hillbillies when we get to the Hillbillies.
Well, we could just segue into the Hillbillies, right?
We could segue to the Hillbillies as well.
Let's do just that. We have segued to the Hillbillies. Hillbillies, last year, 87-75, third in the division. They had a really strong first half. They looked like an absolute wagon, and the wheels fell off. They saw a lot of talent walk this offseason. So they lost 16.8 WAR, which surprisingly puts them a mere second last in off-season gains. So there was one other team that we will cover later that had a much rougher offseason, though that be by design. But losing Slesser, who is lights out in a playoffs for them, it feels like a very sizable loss. He's been pretty stably good with Hannibal.
He's gone. He's not signed with a new team yet either.
No, and then you've got Junmo Kim is leaving as well. He fled to the Isle of Man, and he's been again a reliable kind of mid back end starter for a few years. He did get the money. He did get his bag.
Yep, 18.
Matt Kalin, free agent. Paul Colding, free agent. Federico, free agent. There's a lot of guys.
The thing I would say though, all these players are very old, and it's a good way to maneuver to some newer and some younger players. You know?
Oh, for sure. But you look at a team that was third in the division last year, and they have lost effectively 15 wins above replacement. Like, if you took 1 win above replacement to being exactly 1 win, that puts them as a 70-win team.
Yeah, that doesn't. When you say it like that, it doesn't sound so promising, eh?
I'm not trying to be shitty about them. There's reasons for optimism. Juan Gonzalez, that they picked up at the deadline, has been a pretty reasonable mid-rotation arm for several years. They get him for the full season at a very reasonable rate as well. Like, I think they kind of added some guys at the deadline that allowed them to see other guys walk for more money. They're going to give Jung Ho Lee a chance. He's only got 2 real pitches, and they're both fastballs. He throws pretty hard. I don't know that he's going to be a quality starter, but they're not paying him a ton of money to find out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if he happens to not be an effective starter, he can that kind of money, paying like 6-7 for a guy, you can shift them into a high leverage arm. That I think he's kind of served in that with Pyongyang for a few years. He's been a very quality reliever, so like it's nice to give that guy an opportunity and be like, well, is there more to this guy? And maybe there is. I think he'll probably be in the bullpen by the end of the year, but
will he be a 22 Kikuchi or will he be a 2023 Kikuchi?
Yes, what Kikuchi are we getting out of this? I think Juan Sierras is pretty all right.
I think he's very, very solid.
He's a very solid arm that's been pretty good since coming to Hannibal. He signed at a bargain basement too. He's only making 8.6. So for a guy like that, who's kind of a quality mid arm,
and he's team optioned as well after this year, so something happens.
Yep, absolutely. So like we've kind of named 2 guys. We left the elephant out of this one, but Mendel Hajelkema was last year was a huge year for him. I know he only had 14 decisions out of his 33 games, but he pitched 200 innings. He was striking out 11.5 per 9. Like he had a quality start in 70% of his outings. He was lights out. 4 WAR, 4.8 R WAR. He's definitely he was the top of the rotation arm that Hannibal really needed. He drove a lot of results for them. So that is good to see. So they have a bit of a pitching staff. I think that there's still a good core here, right? Like, you have to pitch to Lundgren. You got to pitch to Colcott. Is there anybody else that you really like on this team, Bear?
I'm not really keen on the batting. I think the starting rotation, like, is the pinnacle of the Hannibal's team. Like, their lineup is a bit suspect, I think is the best to say. That
is a very polite way of saying that. I will say they've got a quality catcher. Jurg Tarabayev he's a former Silver Slugger, 2-time All-Star. He's one of the catchers that hits in the league.
Yeah.
He's routinely, like, your baseline, you're looking at about 85 weighted runs created, and then he could spike up to 120 almost, 120. So it just depends what you're going to get out of him on any given year, but he's one of the few catchers that you can really rely on for 2, maybe 3 WAR. That's a nice piece to have.
He signed a new contract this year, extension of 5 years. Yeah. 3 plus 2.
He's being paid as approximately a 2 WAR player. That's fine. Nothing wrong there.
That's what he's been averaging over the past many years, so it's nothing to worry about.
So what do we think of the Monkeys?
The Monkeys. I think the Monkeys have potential to be the king of the division.
They did get a good Willie. It's another dude that likes to throw hard. His 3+ pitches are all fastballs. They just go in different directions.
One goes down, one goes across, one goes straight in it.
Yeah, that's exactly it right there. He throws the fastball, the cutter, the sinker. He's got a couple other offerings for off speed. You guys honest, but like those are not. That's not why you're here for Mike Willie.
That's why he's nicknamed. I see why he's nicknamed Avenger now, with the 3 different variations of the fastball.
Yeah. Like, well, yeah, he's got the Hulk, he's got Captain America, and he's got Iron Man.
And the
then,
curve.
like his two kind of mediocre ones. It's like, well, the changeup's Hawkeye, and the curveball is I don't know who's kind of a mid Avenger, mid to below average one. Wasp, Ant-Man.
Ant-Man definitely. Ant-Man's a curveball.
Curveball's Ant-Man. There you go. You got the Avengers. Mike Willie, former Holland winner. So there's something to be said there. Tyrus Loskin had a really strong first season with the Monkeys as well, and this is a place where he's maybe a good fit for that park as well. He's playing there. Oscar Bustamante, Bleeder, he signed him as a free agent. Paid a lot for this guy. I think there is a little bit of risk contingent in that. It could be worse, especially given like that he's limited the term. Paid a little bit more to get the guy, but like if that's your number 3 and he comes and he clicks, dude throws 100. Like that's something to be said.
It could.
He's got 5 offerings.
As long as a Westerman doesn't happen.
Yeah, but like that could happen to any pitcher anytime, right?
Yeah.
So
It's a coin flip.
I think this might be the best rotation in the division.
Compared
I know that it's close.
Compared to Hannibal's, I think Hannibal's is pretty solid.
No, I'm saying Hannibal's is solid. I think this one is the best. 1 through 5. Like 1 through 5, this is by far the best. Teres Loskin, Mike Willie, Bustamante, Luis Martez. Luis Martez is a really quality mid to back of the rotation arm. Mario Flores is his number 5. He's got a Holland winner as his number 5. You know, is Mario Flores the same guy that he was back then? No, but he's like a pretty reliable back of the rotation guy, and he works well in the park. And even last year when he wasn't having a great year, he was still a guy that would soak up some innings.
Yeah. Yeah, all the pitchers eat up innings.
Yep. And at the end of the day as well, like they do have a reasonable bullpen. Alex Bustos has been a reliever of the year. I believe he's actually no, that was a while back, but he was pretty quality again last year. He had 3 R WAR. They've got some very effective relievers in this pen as well. Like Sa-Yun Sun, he's a bullpen arm now, but he's not a bad one by any means. He's injured for a bit. He's injured for the season, perhaps. Maybe that was a bad example of why their bullpen's good. This is where we're at. They have last year's MVP.
Paul Ollie's pretty decent.
Jen Ho Shin. He's injured for a few more weeks.
Oh yeah.
You know.
He'll be back soon.
Yeah, he'll be back soon, hitting the casing off the ball. This is where Danny Ramirez has pulled up shop. Like that's another quality bat. Brian Manton is very, very good. That's a 2-time Silver Slugger. Like there's definitely some bats here. I don't think it's the most powerful lineup, but it's still good. The shortstop is good. Snuffy. You know? I don't hate his catcher. His catcher seems perfectly effective. That dude, that's the exact quality of catcher that Springfield gets 2-3 WAR out of all the time.
Yeah.
I think this. If I were putting this out there, I think the battle will be Minneapolis versus Springfield for the top. I think Springfield's lineup is more potent, and I think Minneapolis's pitching is better. So I think you'll see a bit of a dogfight for the top, and Hannibal will kind of be there as the third dog with their very strong rotation and their heart.
Don't talk about it. Don't even think about it.
What? I didn't say anything mean.
I know.
I just said their heart because, like, that's the thing. You said, "Oh, I don't think their lineup's very powerful," and I look at it and it's like, yeah, but that's how it's looked for 3 years, and it fucked me up. Like, they got clutch. They got clutch, or there's something there. They tend to produce more than you think. Remember that year Travis was going bananas because he was like 1-13 versus Hannibal?
Yep.
That was not a good team, but like they would just
Buddy.
it's like, oh, Hannibal scores 12 runs a game for 4 games versus the Neons, and it's like, okay, that's where we're at.
Oh no, they're the C16Ks now, aren't they? They're not the Neons.
Yeah, they're the 6Ks, a little bit of rebranding, but that leaves us to the last one. The Thunder Bay Thundercats. Lionel Snarf, Jeff Snarf. He added a bunch of arms. He added like a rotation worth of arms yesterday. He added Oswin Timmers, Stefan Sanchez, Raymond Werfel, and Angus Goodwin. He added 4 starting pitchers yesterday. All for 1 year. Collectively, $37.6 million.
Not bad. Worth
A
it.
tidy business. So in our evaluation of this team, we got to keep that in mind that the pitching is probably better than it was.
Oh yeah,
I think this is an interesting team to me.
This is
I think Ryan. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, this is a very much an up-and-coming team that's going to be dominating the division in the near future.
Yeah, like I would be concerned if I were in the division. This looks like a really tough division. You start looking at some of the lineup, like a lot of the kids are all right. First, the second overall pick from 2050, Ryan Camerata, Grits. He won a Gold Glove in center field last year. He looks like an absolute animal. His bat hasn't even come around yet, and he was a 2-WAR guy in the outfield. His bat is coming around.
Yeah.
He's coming around, and that is going to be disconcerting. Once he's getting on base at a 360 clip, a little bit of power.
He's going to be
elite glove. Yep.
Going to be causing problems.
Another guy that caused problems was last year's Rookie of the Year, Yeonbun Kim, the Dream. He's just an elite right fielder. Just a scouting discovery. Has come up through the system. Like, this is a really good hitter, and he showed it last season. 40 home runs, 350 OBP. Like, he was really good. But that's just 2 players. You start looking like Dean Mason hasn't hit his upside. He played a bit last season. Like, he looks slinky. He looks like he could play some defense. I don't know if his bat is ready to rock yet. Their first baseman, William Jensen, looks like a guy who should be able to hit.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit of a platoon split, but like he certainly is a player. He's got Bruno Hero, Mama. He's not up at his upside either. He's playing a lot of these guys pretty early, it seems, but like they responded well last season, and there's definitely some upside to this team, to this lineup.
Yeah, the team has a lot of upside in the near future.
Oh, dude, Julio Archuleta, he is such an impact prospect. Like, I really like a guy who can play some third base defense, and with his speed and the gap power, contact, eye, like this guy could hit 1 billion doubles. That's like
that's a leadoff man if I've ever seen one.
I don't think he steals a lot, but he certainly has the extra base speed. You know?
Yeah, he's got the prowess just to make a single into a double.
I know you're salivating. That is a Bears player, you know.
Oh, I remember we were talking about what third base, second base, and this is a player I need in the third base role.
Yeah, he's looking good. I think they've got a pretty good closer now.
Solid closer.
Yeah, he was 4 RWAR, and he's pre-ARB, so like they definitely paid to get Mario Avina. He's not a very popular guy in the dressing room, but man can throw. Ricardo Coutinho has been good in the past and was good again last year for Sunnyvale. You can see what they're doing, you know?
Yeah.
They've put together a talented group of kids for the hitting, and now they've just added a whole bunch of 1-year vets for the pitching, and they've been adding to that bullpen. Like, they're looking to win some close games this year. They're looking to support their kids. This team is on the rise. I think they might be fourth, but that doesn't mean that I think that they're going to be fourth with like a bad winning percentage. I think that's fourth, and they might be above 500.
Yeah.
Enjoy CL Central.
It's going to be a fun time for you in the next decade.
Oh yeah, I say Minneapolis, Springfield, Hannibal, Thunder Bay. That's my order.
I think the 3 and 4 it could be a mix-up, and same with the 1 and 2.
Absolutely, I wouldn't be surprised.
So yeah, I think that's quite settled. I do think Monkeys will probably win, but I think Thunder Bay might come third with the plethora of starters that have come in for the year.
Oh yeah, it could happen. Yeah. Where do we want to go? Hop over to the VL for a division?
I think we go to the runners-up division, and that's the Asian division.
Yeah, that was Shanghai in the finals, right?
It was Pyongyang.
I'm being a shithead. This division is interesting. This division is interesting. I think Pyongyang got a little worse this offseason. Shanghai might have gotten a little better. Peking. The best days are still ahead of them, I think, in this newest group. And I'm missing someone. No? Did I say 4? That doesn't matter.
Pyongyang, Beijing, Shanghai.
I don't think I said Beijing.
Peking.
I'm looking at Beijing. I don't know that they added anything. I think they just let some guys go. It's not like I'm going to cry over Greg Mutard.
So again, the old logs. They signed Sondre Hansen in April. Nothing in January, nothing in February. No, they only signed one player.
They still have a really strong rotation. They're using Cortez Campos as an arm, which is interesting to me. Boo. But like going Park to McClure to Boss to Leppert. Leppert's starting to look a little washed up, but like if that's at the back of your rotation, what are we even complaining about?
I wish I could complain about things like that.
Right? He's got a reasonable bullpen as well with Ji-Man Kim, former champion, and Lauren Claude, former reliever of the year. So there's definitely some talent there. James Powell, he turned out to be quite correct about James Powell being a good, effective third baseman, as he was a 2-WAR guy. He was above average last year for them. Bit of a steal. I don't know if it's a steal of free agency, but he was good. What else do we want to say nice things about?
They're an Asian team, so the BS is real.
Maybe Anders Giselle could bounce back this year. He was sub replacement last year, but like
I think very, very good, very high end pitching. Batting.
I really like Sung Ho Lee. Sung Ho Lee is a really good player. I really like him.
Batting, on the other hand, a bit.
Yeah, but they've got 2 really strong outfielders in the corners. Like the corner outfields are really good.
Oh yeah.
Cheng and Lee, really good outfielders. And Cortez Campos at first base is perfectly cromulent. He's using him as a true 2-way player, which is fun. I hope it works out. I don't know. Who's actually playing center field for them?
Is it Danny Zarate? Yeah, Danny Zarate.
Okay.
He's decent. Don't see anything wrong. And they hit 2-WAR. Plays in Asia, so.
Yeah. But I don't know where I put that.
I think we go across the other teams to figure it out because.
Okay, that seems reasonable. Yeah. I don't know where I put them, man. I was looking at them and like they had a good spring, but like everybody else was fine too. I feel like Pyongyang is better.
Pyongyang better. You got Peking with 2, so.
Yeah, that was wild. He had just an incredible season last year.
And you never know what you get from Shanghai, so.
Yeah. Truly the Forrest Gump of the division. You just don't know what you're gonna get. I guess that's a box of chocolates. I'm showing who the real Forrest Gump is. I don't know. I don't love Peking right now. If I was like, I think Isaiah Kyles they got in the second round is a really nice piece.
Oh yeah.
I think I like some of these up and coming pitchers they got. Teju Silvanoinen, they paid a lot to get that guy in free agency. I thought he looked like a nice find. Nice find, and yeah, Bob Mullet's fine. Marvin Gomez is all right. Like the pitching's fine. They paid to get Shinoda, didn't they? No.
Shino. Where the hell is he?
Don't worry about it. I think Peking is good. I think they'll be driven obviously by their star players, specifically two. They added Bossman as a captain. He's an Iron Man. He's been good before. He wasn't great last year, but he has been good before. Certainly, he's won a Rookie of the Year and a couple of Gold Gloves. They didn't pay a lot to bring that guy in.
No.
So like I think this is pretty. They're using the DH, which is interesting, but I guess it's just because this John Ritchie guy was that good at first.
Matt. Oh, he's a Scouser. Fuck me.
Well, that's a problem, eh?
It is a problem.
What do you think? I think it's like let's just try to
You have to try like subjectively, like try to debate like this batting lineup's going to be carried by two, and the pitching isn't as good as Beijing's, I think. Right?
Yeah, that's fair. I think maybe Beijing finishes ahead of them, but like Peking definitely has some upside. Like those young arms coming up, I am jealous of that.
Salvating out here.
Let's talk about Pyongyang. How did their off season go? It wasn't great, right?
They let some players go, didn't they? They still got quite a lot of stars and great players.
They did add some players. Like they got Dean Wood out of Zurich, and he's been a quality mid-rotation arm. I think mid to back. He's won some games. He's had some off years too, but like.
Oh, he's a starter at Zurich, and now he's a mid-rotation or mid-relief.
That's bold. That's interesting. Maybe he fell off a little bit and just got moved there.
No, they Pyongyang just viewed Dean Wood differently.
He also went and got Whistler in that same trade with Dean Wood, and he's using Whistler as a starter. It looks like. I'm not entirely certain.
The Rebel.
Yue Shui. He did add Shimuzu.
I got
in that same trade, and he's a really nice reliever. Extreme ground ball guy. He didn't have a great year last year, but he certainly he could be an effective late reliever. He's had it before where he's been very good. So they were making some ads.
Yeah.
They were shopping. They let Stefan Sanchez go, which he's been very effective in the relief as well. So some of these guys just came over to fill a role of a departing player. Eddie Evans, Bow Wow, he traded to Motor City for nothing, and still did not have the money to keep Olafson from walking.
Yeah, which I know was the fear in the past, that players are going to cost too much money to keep.
It can be a problem, but Roach signed in Shanghai, division rival to that really stings. 7 WAR last year, 177 OPS plus.
Ooh.
Just an absolute stud of a right fielder. So there's something to be said there.
I did try and sign him, on top of all the other outfielders I have.
Oh, for sure. He's that good. He is that good. If I had any money, I would have been in on him if we had to. But I didn't, and I don't. So I think Pyongyang's still probably the best team in
Yep.
this division.
Pyongyang will finish top. That's a guarantee. That's a bare guarantee stamp.
What does their rotation look like right now?
It's Ricardo Flores, Ray Garby, Holgar Fogg, Jung Hoon Shin, and Juan Diaz.
So he signed Cerna to play relief.
Yep. Sona is in the middle relief role as well.
Interesting. He's got a lot of starters that he rolls in that middle relief. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good. I think this is a pretty good team. Carlos Hernandez is an animal at the plate. That's always going to carry. Having one of the only shortstops that can hit the ball, that's a huge piece.
Oh yeah, that's a bonus.
Yeah, I think this team is very, very good.
Should have won a World Series by now, but here we are.
Theo Fisher is an elite third baseman. Even
Truth.
last year in a terrible year, he was really good.
Yeah, and he started well this year, so
I really like Israel Cruz. I think I like him better in a corner outfield at this part of his career, but getting a guy like Mario Moda.
I've got him as right field at the moment, so it's in the cool.
Like he's added some pieces, right? He got Roberto Lucio to play center field, perhaps for the defense.
Yep.
So that he can just shift Israel Cruz over and let nature take its course with some very, very strong hitting, strong fielding. I would liken it to using Kevin Kiermaier in center field so that you can move George Springer to right, prevent injuries, and just make use of that bat as best you can. And a guy that was an average center fielder becomes an elite right fielder. So
yep.
I think Israel Cruz is taking a similar journey, and I'm all here for it. He's very good. I got a lot of time for this guy. I think Pyongyang's probably going to win the division, followed by Beijing peaking right on their heels.
Yep. We haven't talked about Shanghai yet.
We should talk about Shanghai. I'm just, they look better.
They look better, but they're not there yet.
Well, it's just that they're chaotic, right? Like I don't know where to put them.
You know, life is a box of chocolates.
They added like 3 WAR by letting a bunch of guys walk. Bill Holder, longtime franchise guy, bit of a glovey guy, a glove outfielder, really powerful center fielder / right fielder. They let him go to Motor City. They lost Min-Soo Kim to Kirkland. He wasn't very good last year. I don't think that's a huge loss. Christian Collado to Halifax. He was okay. He's kind of fallen off quite a bit. But maybe he can redeem himself there with the Highlanders. Sigma's Schneider has been a quality mid to back of the rotation arm for a bit. He got paid by New Forest inexplicably.
Who?
Schneider.
Yeah, I don't pay pitchers. Sorry.
Yeah, you did this one.
Yeah,
durable righty, 70 movement grounder.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, so like Shanghai has some questions around that. I think they made some interesting choices. Like they did bring over Wanlin Tian from Castlegar. He wasn't having a good year offensively, but he looks like a super elite fielder at third base. And the bat he's a former Silver Slugger. His rookie season, played half the season and was just so good with the bat. So like there's definitely some upside there. I like that player a lot. I think that could help quite a bit here.
There's potential.
There's definitely some potential. What do you think of their pitching, Bear?
It's probably one of the worst pitching I've seen so far. It's not pretty apart from Funakoshi, who's probably by far the best player out of them all. Like the rest are very bang average, and they might suffer quite heavily.
I will say this guy that they brought up last year, Wildcat, Hansel Farber. He was an animal last year as a rookie, and that guy is looking very, very scary for the middle of the order. So you start pairing some of these guys around. Like you've got Hansel Farber, big lefty bat. You've got your Olafson.
Oh, yep.
Roach is like your big righty bat. I'm assuming that means they might be using Van Vindergaarden in center field.
They got Jerry Robles center field.
Okay. I don't know how they're lining their batting order, but I just mean like the outfield. There are 3 good outfielders.
What I've got is Edgar Rodriguez left field, Jerry Robles center field, and Jonathan Olafson right field.
Where's Jarno van Vindergaarden?
Jarno van Vindergaarden, he's in the injury list.
Still dealing with that thumb ailment. Gotcha.
Yeah, he's just come back, so I'm assuming he's going to be back into the lineup this coming up
I think
week.
this lineup can compete. The starting rotation, like the pitching looks scary, but the thing is that they have historically run some pitching rotations that don't look like they should be that effective on paper, but turn out to be good. So I will say this team, I don't think that they're bad. I think they're chaotic.
It's going to be a box of chocolates, and you don't know what you're going to get from game to game because they beat me 2-1 in a series.
There you go. I think I go Pyongyang, Beijing, Peking, Shanghai, and I'm not surprised because I think Beijing, Peking could swap spots. I think Shanghai could be anywhere, and you'd be like, oh, weird.
Shanghai finished. Even if Shanghai finishes above Pyongyang, you'd be like, oh yeah, that sounds about right.
I would be like, that's wild. That is a wild season. This division is fun. Let's move over to the Asian compatriot, I guess, the third division. We can go with the CL Eastern.
Oh, yep.
Who do you like in this division?
I think there's only one team I like.
Motor City?
The Montreal Expos.
Oh, that was my next guess.
Bullshit. It was the Zabbies.
Yeah, it was. You're right, but I had two more guesses and I would have gotten it. The Expos, last year, probably the best team in the CL.
Yep, by far.
I was shocked that they did not make it to the World Series. They had some defections, though. Like, their offseason was not without some degree of loss.
Yep.
They lost 8 wins above replacement, which I guess as a team that's 102-60 last year and just was an absolute wagon, you can see some of those guys leave and you go, well, I'm just pocketing that money and moving forward. They saw their the catcher they acquired at the deadline, Chu Ka Dai, one of the best fielding catchers that we've seen. He is a 2-4-6 8-time Gold Glove winner at the position. He's taken his talents to Halifax. Sergio Gonzalez has been very strong for Montreal for a couple seasons after acquiring from Zurich. Just been a quality guy his entire career. I don't know how he still plays center field with so much ability, but there you go.
Things are amazing.
Well. Where's Sergio now?
Sergio. No, that's Sergio. Finally, Sergio Rodriguez. He is currently still a free agent.
Sergio Gonzalez?
Yep, still a free agent.
Okay, you said Rodriguez, so I'm just making sure we're talking about the same guy.
Sergio Gonzalez. I mean, they're all Mexican names. They're close enough. Puerto Rican.
I mean, saying that with your accent just comes off to me. I'm not going to touch that one. You're going to talk to me about Jules. The coronation. Volt Grant went to Newfoundland, where I think he's probably going to play in a middle relief role. He didn't take a lot of money, but that's a long time Expos guy. He has been a very long time member of the Expos. 14 seasons, 27 wins above replacement as a reliever. So pour one out for Volt Grant and his defection this off season. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, which I say all the time and then never actually do. Montreal looks like they are easily the best team in this division.
It's not exactly a hard accomplishment, but yeah.
Like, I feel like I owe it to talk about them, but at the same time, it's like, okay, they have a really good bullpen. Mounier was a really good international free agent signing. He's an elite as heck reliever. They've got a bunch of other guys like that.
Very good pitch.
Good.
Very good pitching. Rotation, very good. Batting.
Who do you like the most? Who do you like the most in that rotation?
Do I look at stars or do I look at actual players?
Just give me a name. Who do you like there? Because I would say that Montreal definitely.
I would say
Francisco Gamez back.
I think Ramon Solano is my favorite out of the three.
I really like Gamez.
I like lefties though.
That's fair, but both of those guys being at the top of a rotation is pretty darn scary. I know Romuald Mounier is better than what he has shown. He was good last year. Absolutely, he was good last year.
He started very well so far this season.
Okay. So I don't know. Something he's a quality arm. He's a quality arm, and I think he's been better for longer than I maybe give him credit for. But they definitely have a three-headed monster at the top of this rotation, and then when you're running guys like Jose Salazar, as your 3-4, like that's good. That's real good. That's a good rotation. They can hit too. Jose Ayala is an absolute nightmare in a short series. He's won 4 playoff MVPs from series. It's just an animal.
That says everything, doesn't it? Man is clutch.
Well, I just mean like, okay, so look at his postseason record. He's hit 16 home runs in 44 games in his postseason career. Like this guy's eaten me up in multiple series. Beefsteak generates runs. He doesn't field worth a damn, which is kind of weird given that he looks like he should be a good fielder, but that's not why you have him. You have him to get on base and then turn every single or walk into a double by stealing it. He has stolen 100 bases or more in a season 3 times out of a 5-season career.
Yeah, and he has 3 for one of the seasons. He has 3 stolen bases off.
Yeah, the other one he had 97. Like, he's ridiculous. He's very good. I think Montreal still wins this division handily. All right, we've pumped his tires enough. Next team.
The Sloths.
We're gonna do the Sloths.
We're gonna do
let's
Sloths.
do this. They added. You gotta help me out here, man.
They added nothing in March, nothing in February, nothing in January. They haven't signed anyone as far as I can see.
Okay, very good. Moving along. Zabbies.
They've released players, they've reassigned players.
So they're doing stuff. I think Orlando Flores is a good hitter.
Yeah.
I like that as a guy. Fabian Palmstrom looks like he could be an absolute animal. He hasn't put it together yet, but maybe one day.
I think the Sloths are slowly getting somewhere in the next 5 years, maybe?
This Chen guy was a scouting discovery. He's been really good, and I really like the cut of his jib. Discipline at the plate, home run power, contact. That's a really hard guy to pitch around.
Yeah, he's going to hit you regardless, or he's going to dodge.
Ryan Frost is still even very good at this point. Like, he's so old. But it's a 9-time All-Star, 3-time Silver Slugger. He's still a very quality hitter, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
His contract ends next year as well. 2056 season.
There you go. This DeJong guy looks like he should be able to field. He couldn't hit worth a damn last year, but he should be able to field, right?
Oh, yeah. He started quite well with the bat as well, actually. He's 190 OPS plus.
Oh, wow. So, like, there's reason. There's reason to like the Sloths a bit. I think they've got a couple arms in their rotation that are pretty quality. They've got, like, this Zier Dillon guy coming up that looks like he could be fun.
And it looks like they might actually have sort of a shortstop, maybe.
Really? Do tell.
Wait, okay, the shortstop is -1 zone rating already, but
what can you do?
last year it was -8.8, -5.6, -5.7. Yeah. Optimism.
I don't think they're bad. I just think that
Bang average.
They're looking very average. There's some upside there. There's guys that have not hit to their ratings yet, or played to their ratings, and there's something to be said for that. Like, there's some upside. It could be that some of these guys just never make their ceiling, but they could do it, and the Sloths would surprise in that instance. Let's move on.
I don't think they're a playoff team, but they're somewhere. They're a mid team. Right.
Yeah.
Motor City or Zabbies?
Motor City or Zabbies? Let's go alphabetical. The Zabbies.
Man, people are going to be confused because they think they don't realize the Zabbies are the Kitchener Zabbies.
Yeah. Well, Kitchener Zabbies. They lost some players. They let a couple guys walk. Gregorio Hernandez is going to go apply his trade in LA. Raymond Werfel, Thunder Bay. Andy De La Rosa, probably nowhere. But there's definitely, they lost some players. They did gain Danny Badillo, to play designated hitter and be designated leadership. He looks pretty good. That feels like that could work out for the Zabbies, like replacing De La Rosa with that guy. They brought Stephen Murdoch in, Stitch. That's a former All-Star. He's been all right for a few years with Minneapolis. He's been even better before that with Halifax. Maybe coming back to a forgiving stadium may see his numbers swell a little bit.
Yeah, he's got a nice 2-year contract as well.
Can't talk about the Zabbies without mentioning that they have been a big player this offseason in the international free agent market. They made some moves. They signed Slayer Arrieta, who looks like a pretty good right fielder. Some big pop in that bat. Reasonable fielder, quality guy in the room, as he's a captain. Like, that's a nice get for the term and the dollars. 3 guaranteed years. That's not terrible. Then you start looking. They're going to run some weird third baseman, George San Miguel. They always find these guys. They find these guys. They pump them. They flip them.
Yep. Make dough.
Thomas Erstweiler has actually been a very quality shortstop for a few years now. Really, really reasonable with the glove. The Zabbies quietly a team that seems to really value having a high-end glove at the position.
Yeah, Zabbies highly rate gloves in like very important fielding positions, especially shortstop.
Yes, they do.
Shortstop is like number 1.
Mm-hmm. I do like this Park kid. I don't think Goofy, this Park kid, is ready right now, but soon. They also have the former first overall pick, Prokop Hejna, and he could be making his way up to the big leagues in the near future as well as a center fielder. He looks like an average defender, but the bat really could impress. He's a line drive hitter, has good contact skills, some developing power, and can run a little bit. Injuries have kind of taken some toll on him, but he could pair with Josh Simmons to be a really potent 1-2 in the lineup.
Oh yeah.
I like the way they're building this. I think that they're a piece or two off, but like they've got those pieces in the system and they can move forward with it.
Yeah, that's promise.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think of the rotation? They did pick up Jonathan Jenkins, Gonzo.
Yeah, I wanted Jonathan Jenkins.
They paid him $21 a year for 4 years. I would have easily paid that. This guy looks like
definitely.
He looks to me a lot like Tony Rodriguez on the GAR. Looks a lot like he's not going to strike a lot of guys out, but with the good defense that the Zabbies have, he keeps the ball down, doesn't issue a lot of walks, has a wide selection of pitches. I'm a fan.
he's gonna be causing havoc. Like he should be. Well, he's not started well, but he should have a very good season.
He had a really good spring. I know that doesn't mean what we might think it means.
He's already conceded 12 runs in 2 games.
But like I think he can be a part of the solution. Fernando Garcia is getting closer and closer.
Yeah, Garcia's on the fringes, isn't he?
Jose Pena is a reasonable floor player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a future for the rotation and the bats for the Zabbies. I think the team at the moment is worse than the Sloths, but there's like very good promise in the future for them.
Things are going well in the Leafs game. It's 40 seconds into the second, and a Florida Panthers player just like crushed the goalie into the goalpost, and he's still on the ice, and the Panthers are getting a power play out of that inexplicably. Excellent. That's a Wes McCauley call. Patented, baby. Anyways, yeah, I think the Zabbies are probably better than I might be higher on this team than a lot of other people. I think that they could compete for second in the division. Yeah, should be fun. Do we want to move on to Motor City?
Time for Motor City time.
All right, Motor City time. How'd their offseason go? It was much criticized. There was a lot of salt headed their way.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, Ian Weiser, franchise icon,
is back
in Motor City. He is back in Motor City. He has Eddie Evans a fragile right-hander who was playing in the bullpen for Pyongyang. He's got 5 years of player guarantee left at approximately 19-ish million a year.
Yeah.
He got him for nothing. But, yeah, he's there. Kind of swapped out their guy, Makar Kalbakov, for another arm.
What do you think about the Eddie Evans trade?
I think that I would have asked to be paid to take that contract just because of the term and the risk contingent in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also understand Motor City's logic on that, like a little bit. I still would have wanted it just because of the risk, but yeah. I get what they're saying. They just didn't want to fuck around in a bidding war. They didn't want to get into free agency and have this team bid up this guy and this team bid up this guy, and I can kind of get it. I think that if you want to stay out of it, you probably could have done what Thunder Bay did this year, where they signed a bunch of guys to 1 years.
Yep. Just wait patiently and grab what's left on 1 years.
It's so obviously hindsight bias, because I look at that and go, well, I would much rather have Stefan Sanchez for 1 year than Eddie Evans.
But you have to the only as you said earlier is that you've got a bidding war.
Yeah, well, you didn't have a bidding war. That's the thing. That's why you signed in Thunder Bay for 1 year.
Yeah,
right.
Like.
But the thing is that you have to play the market, and it takes attention, and it takes patience, and you got to have the right timing. So like that's the thing, right? Is if you are like, man, I'm gonna go moose hunting. I don't want to fuck around with it. You know what? I get that.
Like I bidded for Sanchez, Gyasi when they wanted 1 year contracts, and they rejected me for fucking LA and
that rules.
Thunder Bay.
So the thing is that Motor City still has some players. Like at the end of the day, they've still got Ian Weiser in center field. They have Daniel Carbajal. I can't say it. I'm gonna sneeze.
Carbajal. I think we've done this before. I had to use Google Translate to understand.
Yeah, but I didn't cause a sneeze last time. This is wild. Carbajal.
It's almost like Rainbow Road on Mario Kart, isn't it? Of course,
see now the word isn't even making any sense to me now. He's really good defensively. He is really good defensively. He plays shortstop. It's good. It's a good thing. I like Frank Perez. I believe in Frank Perez.
I believe in Frank Perez.
I think he can be a good third baseman.
He's been pretty solid for the past few years.
They used Song Zai, and he actually won the Silver Slugger at third base last year. I think they're moving him across the diamond to first, but he is animal as well.
Yeah, he's at first base.
He's an on-base machine. Doug Knight was a player. That's all I'm saying. He made $5 million last year. He's a player.
Was a player. Yep.
Oh, Danny Morrissey though, that's a good contract for a guy that has done some yeoman's work. I think he's been a pretty reliable.
He's always been above 100 OPS plus. Effectively, it's only 1 year that he's been less than 100.
Yeah. So I mean, there's definitely some guys here. I think Bill Holder could play center field. I think he plays center field pretty good, actually. Other than that, he would just be a very good, corner outfielder as well. Alex Trevino still playing in Motor City. Good with the glove, good in the room. Fans like him. I don't know. I see some pieces here.
Yeah.
If their starting pitching can hold, they could.
This division is very much potential based. There's a lot of potential in the future. It's whether they get to that future.
Yep. All right. Who are we doing now? Atlantic?
Yeah, let's do the Atlantic. Let's do our favourite team.
Atlantic did have a very wild offseason. You had Sunnyvale, you had Halifax, both loading up.
Yep, but they're not our favourite team though.
Oh yeah, but like we can get to our favorite team. We can get to them after.
All right, let's do Sunnyvale then.
Sunnyvale then? Okay, we can start with Sunnyvale. Whatever. Sunnyvale did some adding. They added Natsume Oda, 3-time MVP, 9-WAR player last year. They added him from the Zurich fire sale. That's a big add. That is a big add. They did see some guys walk. Like they watched Gayassi leave. That could come back to sting a little bit. But they think that they may have gotten a guy in Greg McTart. Perhaps that's a player that could do some work for them. And they did also add Wu Rampai, who looks like a pretty good second baseman. He's a captain too. Played a little bit last year for Halifax, but he's got a lot of upside still. I think that's a pretty good. That is a pretty good second baseman.
That is a good future.
Yeah, it's a very nice future. So like, where's Sunnyvale? They're probably 1 or 2, right?
Yeah, I think they're probably 1.
They were 92 and 71 last year, second in the division. They've added a bit.
Well, the main challenge is Halifax, right? So
that's the problem, though, is Halifax had a huge offseason too. So if we take a look at what Halifax did here, and like that's not taking away, like we could talk a little bit more about Sunnyvale. Like they had some good pieces already there. They're running Davies at third base. He's fun as a leadoff guy. You start looking like Lee-Son Lee is one of the greatest center fielders in the league, possibly in league history at this point. Roy Scott hits the ball. Cesar Fernandez, he really hit the ball a lot last year. Like they have a lot of pieces in Sunnyvale that are fun. It's a fun team. Steve Gray is basically like that guy on Motor City, except he had a good year.
Yep. The direct opposite. That tells you the luck. Luck plays a major part.
Yeah. Looks very similar though. The rotation looks all right. Musang Song, Isanori Sugimoto, Nestor Castaneda. Like there's definitely some good arms here. I like Sunnyvale a lot. I think it was a 90-win team last year that is now going to be stronger. It's a damn shame they have to beat down Halifax to get to it, because Halifax added a lot this offseason too.
Yeah, the challenge has got a lot stronger.
Mm-hmm. They did see some guys leave, like again, Wu Rampai is a good player. Odwin Timmers was a very strong reliever for Halifax. Manny Martinez, really strong reliever. So like they definitely had some guys move on that were pretty solid players, but compared to what they got Ron Colley from Zurich, who was almost a 4-WAR outfielder last year. He's only 27.
Yeah.
He's only 27 and he's extended forever. 9 years. He's extended 9 years.
9 years, 157, 158 total. So
he's a good player. He's a good player. And then they signed Chuaka Dai, who is one of the best defensive catchers in the history of this league. Maybe the best.
Got Arias. Was Arias better than Dai?
I think Dai's framing, right?
Yeah, I think Arias was
better. Like he was better.
It's better. It was a combination of both from me, and then you had.
Yeah, because you're looking like Arias was like a 50-WAR catcher or something like that, or a 60-WAR catcher, and we're at Dai at the time he signed that deal, 38 and a half-ish. You know, like his career's not over, but like yeah. Well, maybe he could approach that.
That's potential.
He's led by the glove, right? He saved a bunch of runs already in framing, so he definitely is an asset. I really like that for Halifax because I think that helps out their pitching a little bit. Like this Okamura guy they got from Sunnyvale, that they're dropping into the rotation, could help a guy like that steal some strikes. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I got you.
I think Halifax is pretty good. They still have Gear Still at the top of the rotation. He went bananas last year and won a Holland. So like they definitely have some guys. They've got Green, who's still pitching despite being fragile. He was very effective last year, super effective, one could say. So like he's definitely the general manager spent a lot of effort padding to this particular spot to pad over the pitching. They have a powerful lineup, some really good hitters, some good fielders too, like Eng Hee Shu in center field, phenomenal glove man. You've got a similar guy at catcher and Dai, and you've got a pretty good, reasonably looking glove guy at shortstop. So like you got the defense at the key positions, strong lineup, a unusually strong rotation in Halifax. This could be difficult. I think this might be the top team in the division, and Sunnyvale nipping at their heels. And then we can move on to our favorites.
Well, yeah, let's go to our favourites. Which one do you want to do first?
Let's do Cape Breton.
Alright, Woodcocks.
Love the Woodcocks. What did they add, Bear?
Oh god, you're making me do work. Where are they?
I know what they lost. They lost Sandra Hansen. Went to Beijing.
I'm 1 week ahead of you, so I can't see so clearly.
I know they lost Jay Dean,
well,
who's a former very high pick.
alright, it seems like they signed no one, so
Okay.
it
might have just been a money thing.
they released a lot of players. They signed a new scouting director.
Oh. Mark Parrish back in center field, to my view. Danny Roman back at second base.
Parrish is center field. Yep.
Who are they using at shortstop?
Shortstop is Cedric Patel.
Okay.
So the Woodcocks is the most Woodcocks thing Woodcocks should do.
No, because they're using Danny Carrillo
I
at third base now, and he's going to be an absolute stud.
truth. Though he's not started well. His OPS plus is 0.
He'll get there. This Tim Pinnell guy, I want to believe in him too. He has had one good season. I don't know why he's doing so bad.
You know,
It honestly confuses me.
you know who he reminds you of, don't you?
I like the cut of his jib. I think he should be a reasonable first baseman.
It gives me a vibe of a certain Bears draftee that also ended his career at the Woodcocks. That's the vibes Tim Pinnell gives me, you know.
I guess he doesn't make any money though, right?
That's true. That is a positive out of the whole thing. He doesn't.
Like Bill Newsom too.
He doesn't randomly earn 22 million or whatever it was. Wait, let's have a look.
Yeah. Bill Newsom's really good too.
Dennis
I think this Ovi Kronberg.
Oh yeah, 30 million.
Reasonable. Yeah. I really like. I don't know. They just have a lot of guys that they've been drafting and developing, and they're kind of here at the same time. I'm a little concerned about the pitching. Just a little bit. They've got some guys that seem good.
But they got a lot of potential on top of the what they already have.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a very solid base with some stars, and then they got a lot more people to come through. The only, as you said, rightly said, the pitching is going to be a bit lackluster, and that's something they may need to invest into.
Mark Parrish is so good.
I know.
Mark Parrish is so good. He got on base at a 5.04 clip last year. What? How is that? That's wild. And he hasn't even hit his ceiling. To my scouting, he has not even hit his ceiling.
He's still got 5 eye remaining for me.
Yeah, he's exactly. He could get a little bit better at identifying. That's wild. They also have 2 good catchers. This is one of the teams that they've got 2 good catchers on the roster, right?
Yep.
You got Hiske Kolamainen, very strong. He's got a good eye.
And Alex Rodriguez.
Yes, Alex Rodriguez, nicknamed Whale, not A-Rod. And he has not. Neither guy has really put it together yet, but they both look good. I would want either one of these guys starting on my team. Call me, please.
Let me have one, please. Have that, Papa. Can I have one, please?
Ooh. Yeah.
No. Then no one's going to take us seriously now.
Oh yeah, that's what really put them over the edge.
The Uwu.
Yeah. Cape Breton's fun. I don't know what's going to happen with them. I think they're stuck here. Like, the thing is, Halifax and Sunnyvale Seditions have put them both in such a place that I think the Newfoundland Growlers and the Cape Breton Woodcucks are maybe better than they're among the best these teams have had. Like, I'm sure there's better Woodcucks teams. I think this is the best the Growlers have ever been.
Yeah.
I think this is the best Growlers team they have ever fielded in the history of the franchise, and they are going to get walled by the monsters in their division.
If you put the Growlers in a European or a Eastern division, they might actually be massively competitive.
Pacific? Okay, I don't think the Pacific is good anymore. But anyways, yeah, I really appreciate the Woodcucks. I appreciate the development system. They have some guys that are like just really fun players. Mark Parrish is one of my favorites in the league.
It's not long until we get Marcio Corsi either, or Hidemichi Suzuki.
Yeah, he's definitely got some pieces coming up. Newfoundland.
The Growlers.
Signed some guys. They let Alberto Luna, who's now washed up, they let him go. They let a reliever go, but they added Zach Dees. You know.
Zachary Dees, age 41, almost 42, still going.
He is a 7-time MVP. I'd like to put that out there. I like this. I like this because they're not paying him a ton of money. I like this because he's extremely popular. I like this because he was still a good hitter last year, and I hope that he has an opportunity to maybe get to 100 WAR as a result of this. Like, I don't know if he's got the momentum, but like, damn it, I'm pulling for him. I hope he makes it.
He started decently so far.
That's good to hear. I think that's a fun ad. I think that if you have money for 1 year, you want to get some fans, butts in the seats, a guy like that helps. Volt Grant is another popular piece that they're not paying a hell of a lot of money to be a reasonably a chance at effective reliever. I would pay $2 million to figure out if the guy could be a good reliever. Then paying $2 million for a guy that clearly slots onto their team, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I have concerns about Etor Dart going to a hitter's park as being a fly ball guy, but what are you going to do? You need to get some pitchers.
Yep.
2-year deal, pretty minimal commitment, pretty minimal risk. Like, maybe that's Tanner Rourke for them, or maybe it's Tanner Rourke. Maybe it's what Tanner Rourke should have been. They've got some pieces, like future pieces, they're looking to liquidate as well. Like, they could be a team that adds if they could find somebody that's willing to give them a young pitcher for that second baseman. I think their current second baseman's fine. I'd probably just let him be a bench piece.
Yeah, and use Zuniga to do some exploding.
Oh, there was another one. He's got a bunch of second basemen. This is the second base factory, man.
I got Zuniga, and then I got right field Villa Marin, who's a third base Fella Abdel Sata. Rudolph Myers, so he's the first base.
He keeps dangling one in trade.
Let's have a gander. Let's have a look at the old trade block.
Yeah, I gotta take a look at the old trade block. Yeah, see, he's got another guy, right? Adolfo Sanchez.
Adolfo Sanchez? Where the fuck is that guy?
Did we lose him?
Adolfo Sanchez.
Oh, he was teaching him first base. There you go. He's teaching him some positional versatility.
There we go. Problem solved.
He raked AAA last year. He's only 24.
He's only 24, raking AAA. Oh.
Well, I just mean, like, it's a guy that's had a slow burn coming up. He was drafted as a college guy.
He's making progress.
Yeah. Second round pick. He was drafted in 52 or in 55. So, like, I guess he was in his 20s when he got drafted, right? And he has hit in A. He has hit in AA. He's hit in AAA. He's looking for an opportunity, and Newfoundland's shopping that guy, looking for a piece to come back. You know.
Yeah.
I kind of like the rotation a little bit with Dave Bent. I'm a sucker for Dave Bent. That guy's pitched through some terrible teams in a really unforgiving run environment. Dave Bent is really good. I really like Dave Bent.
Oh, bless Dave Bent.
Well, I mean, he's just pitched a ton of innings for this team. He's been 35 WAR. He's made the All-Star game a few times. This is their franchise best pitcher.
And he has a new contract as well, to potentially up to 39 years old.
Finish his career there. Guelph legend. I am a fan. I also like this Victor Flores guy. He had a really strong first season last year, and there's reason to think maybe he could be even better this year with a little bit more experience under his belt. Tony Guerrero was pitching better last year. This is another guy that was another high pick. It's not a lack of talent; it's a lack of execution. Danny Garcia, he's just a back of the rotation guy. Like this is the best rotation they've ever had.
Oh no, Tony Guerrero's injured for a week. Oh.
Still not bad. But then you start looking at the bullpen, you're like, okay, Steven Olson, he had a good year last year. He had a really good year last year. Nicholas Mason, he was fine. Shizema, he was really good last year for Newfoundland. And then they're adding a guy, I've lost his name, but that Volt Grant. They're adding Volt Grant to the pen. This team is taking some steps forward. You look at their lineup, it's young, fun to watch. They've got some big bats that hit long balls like Chris Hitchcock. They have some guys that play some small ball like Vicente Rivera, Alexis Betancourt. I think third base is still a weakness, and pitching will be problematic at times, I'm sure. But
Oh yeah.
I like what they're doing. I think they figured it out a bit. They're figuring it out. Anyways, so what are we saying for that division? I say Halifax, Sunnyvale.
Woodcocks, Growlers.
I think the Woodcocks Growlers is going to be closer than it has been ever. I think the Growlers are getting better, and the Woodcocks are good still. Woodcocks are good. I'm not taking anything away from them. I think those two teams are getting closer to throw a blanket over them. All right, what are we doing here? CL Pacific. CL Pacific.
Yeah, let's do the Pacific.
All right, what about LA Blazers?
Yeah, let's start with the Blazers.
They added some pieces. They lost some pieces. Moving along. No, they added Santa Marta, Eager Beaver. Fun nickname. Guy can hit a bit for a catcher. He's quietly put together a very reasonable career as catcher, like a 20 WAR guy. That seems really good for what he was, right? That's a 7-time All-Star.
Yeah,
he's a reasonable catcher.
He's a solid catcher.
I like catchers, okay? I like catchers.
Apart from when Santa Marta plays for Castlegar.
Yeah, well, I you know what? I would have traded Alex Evelyn. It was just which catcher do you want? It's I'll take the younger one. I was good choice. Willie Medina went to LA. He's a very popular player. He's not paying a lot. It's kind of a bench piece. LA also signed Gayassi, didn't they?
Yeah, they did because they beat me to him.
Mm-hmm.
They ever put him into. I'm assuming they're going to put him into the team soon, but yeah.
So yeah, LA I think is better than they were last year. They have some fragility. Lots of fragility, actually, especially in pitching. It's the same story, right? But there's some guys that can hit here. Jason Toett's a fun bat. He hits with a lot of power. Their third baseman's pretty reasonable. Carl Feitner, part of the Pyongyang third base factory. Got a good second baseman too, this Kim guy. So like the team's coming along. Their rotation's solid. I think they could compete for the division.
Yeah, I think they'll be competitive to the top. I think they'll be second maybe.
Well, like last year, I thought there was oh, if only my 1-1 record wasn't better than Castlegar's, I would be better than Castlegar. You know, like, but like they got better. Like I think, like what did they lose? They didn't lose. They didn't say goodbye to very much. Like,
I don't think they said bye too much at all, did they? They just improved, right?
Yeah, well, they're a big market. They had a lot of money to spend. They spent that money. They got the best pitcher in free agency.
Yeah, fuck off.
You know,
I'm not salty. I'm not salty at all.
That's a good ad. It's a good ad. If you can add the best pitcher in free agency, you should do so. You can take me to the bank on that one. If you have the opportunity.
I think I actually offered 30 million, and you know what 30 million is to me. And he fucking rejected me for these fucking cucks, man.
Bill Rancourt could be a fun relief ad. Hee-Ho Park is a guy. Fun to say his name. I think he could be. He seems like one of those guys who's going to go to this run environment and be really effective. So I think that's a sneaky good ad. I'm really down on some of the other teams in the division. So like, I'm going to go out and say that LA maybe does it this year.
Yeah, I think there's room to be optimistic as a LA supporter.
I think this division's still kind of eating crayons, but like,
right.
What are you gonna do?
In the crayon comparison, is it better or worse than the European or the Eastern division?
It is not as good as the Eastern, and I say that because I think that Expos are a tier above anybody that's in this division.
Yep.
And even if I think LA and Gar or whatever have more than whatever their equivalents are, it's a pretty small gap between that group that are supposed to win the Pacific and that second tier in the Eastern. I think this is probably better than the Euro division, but comparable. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I understand.
Like this is one of the weak divisions now. Gar got old, like old and busted, led the league in injuries for 2 years in a row or whatever, and they're old, they're fragile.
And
I think it's
yeah,
might be time for the full rebuild. We'll see. Like there's still guys on that team. There's still really good producers on that team, but like the Gar kind of has-beens. LA has a bunch of kind of never-wases. Kirkland is
rebuilding,
adding a bunch of guys, but like they're firmly into the rebuild category, you know. And 6Ks, is that what they are now?
Yep, 6Ks, 2-1 6Ks. It's these flipped on names on there because it used to be the Suwon Neons and the Redondo Beach 6Ks. Now we got the Redondo Beach Neons and now the Suwon 6Ks.
So they got this Masuda guy from
Zurich.
Yep, Zurich, and he's been a pretty good reliever.
Mm.
That's their big ad, I think. Big ad there.
I believe so. Bin Jabir was on the trade-in block and pinged towards Lone Wolf and half cast in the playoffs.
Lost Dart, lost Atterich, lost Gonzalez. I think they're really missing those guys.
I think what 6Ks are probably the best team, followed by Blazers maybe, or the other way around. I don't know. I think I prefer the 6.
If you think so.
I think I prefer the 6Ks to the Blazers, but that might be biased because of Giassi for cucking me.
I think there's a lot of arms that are coming up that haven't proven anything yet with the 6Ks.
Yep.
Like you're looking like a guy like Aranda, where it's like he hasn't really found that next step. And Telsev had a really strong, like a pretty good first season, but he hasn't broken through as an impact arm. So like is Masuda starting still? Lafarga's the veteran here.
Masuda's starting. He's number 1. You got Edkev 2, Lafarga 3, Aranda 4, and Ajamu 5.
Okay. Trevor Harker was a really good closer last year. Like, that's a good piece. As you mentioned, Ben Jabir, a really elite center fielder. I don't know, this team's fine.
I think it's a very solid team. There's some very weak spots in places, but
like Coeli.
But I think that's more the depth than the main bulk of the team, you know.
Yeah. Well, like Coeli came on last year pretty hard in the second half because he was so bad in the first half. You know, Luis Ramirez was all right. I think is he using him as a shortstop?
Yes, Luis Ramirez is the shortstop.
Yaha, like Wahir Yaha.
Yaha?
Yaya, sorry.
Yeah, is third baseman.
Yeah, but like that guy had a strong season last year. Like there's a bunch of guys that were solid, and they're looking to take a step forward, right? So
yeah.
The thing is if a bunch of these players that they're expecting to produce, then they could probably finish higher. If they stay treading water as a 2 or 3, then maybe they struggle again. We'll see. Like this division's all pretty tight, right? Like
it's
looking at Kirkland.
Yeah, it's a very tight division. There's no ways about it. Like even the old man Castle guards still got credibility to finish somewhere, you know, in a decent position.
I don't love Kirkland's pitching, but like there's some pieces that are coming up that look like they could be helpful, you know.
Yeah.
And they were signing some guys, right?
Yeah, I think Kirkland signed quite a few guys, didn't they? When I was looking.
Yeah, Clive Kehoe, Coland. They were shopping at the discount. They were buying bulk to shop.
Yeah. They signed a lot of players. They signed 6 in February.
Oh yeah. Min-Soo Kim is, I believe, starting at second, and he's a pretty good defensive guy. He couldn't hit worth a lick last year with Shanghai, but like he could be good again. He has been good before. He used to be really good. So
he started very well as well with the bat.
Mm-hmm. I am aware. It was not a good week in the Cascar.
Whoops.
Yeah. I don't know. I look at the spring. You look at the spring stuff, and it's like, well, Castlegar won the spring. Like Castlegar played the best of the spring on the rest of these.
Yeah.
Kirkland. They've got some players that are breaking through. Like Matt Henderson's been. He wasn't great last year, but the year before he was good. They're still abnormal. Raked for them the last 2 seasons after being paid to take him. So like there's some guys here that are pretty good. Eric Fullerton's looking for a full-time job. Spring
training is the real trophy in my opinion.
Yeah, real trophy. Scott Coster's there, a veteran leader. So like there's still some guys. There's some guys here, and I don't know. Kirkland always seems to get the most out of their rosters.
Yeah, I think Kirkland and Pekin are probably the 2 best people to get the most out of their rosters. It's just like squeeze every little fucking ounce that they can possibly get from a player.
Yep. There you go. All right, last one.
Go.
Let me get a beer for this.
Get a beer and drink yourself silly as you talk about the pain that you've just gone through. And there might be more pain to come soon because it's 1:10 for me, which is normally roughly about sim time.
There we go. I got a New England hazy IPA. Spectacular. All right, so hit me with it. Tell me all the places.
Well,
tell me all the places I have failed.
I love your backup catcher.
Oh, the 1-star guy?
1-star guy? Apparently he's done quite well with the bat so far.
Has he?
Yeah. He's 93 OPS plus.
He's got what, sorry?
He's 93 OPS plus.
33 is...
93. 90.
93. Whoa, never mind. I take it back.
The
thing is that, like, I didn't have much money.
No, you lost quite a lot, didn't you? You lost quite a lot, didn't you?
I lost some. I had to eat my entire development scouting budget, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that's not gonna hurt me in the long term. Yeah, the team. A lot of people didn't enjoy the team last year. They were just very hurt. I was missing 2 silver sluggers at any given time. That's the problem when you get old and fragile. So like that's still a possibility. I think the starting catcher here is okay. But like again, that's a player that you're like, oh well, I hope he can hit.
Yeah, I've like the pitching should be fantastic, and somehow the pitching is fucking diabolical at the moment.
The thing is that if you look, like, it's very top heavy.
I guess, yeah.
You got two guys driving the bulk of the results, and then if you look, you're like, oh, okay. So how are these other guys doing?
It's almost like when you look at the bottom half of the woman, then you see her face, and it's like a fucking dog's ass, you know.
I was actually thinking of that meme with the horse. One side is drawn really good. And
oh yeah, I know that one.
Like that, yeah. So the back end of the horse is Jolly and Rodriguez, and the rest of the horse, the goofy part, is everything that remains. Dave Sanchez, I thought would be fun because he was a captain. He came on a little bit with left-handed. Had a decent year last year for Arbor, but could not strike anybody out. And I don't know if you're going to last super long in the league. You can't strike guys out. And his third pitch disappeared in December, so that might be a reliever.
You should be created a Trevor Richards player so you can replace Dave Sanchez.
Pian was really bad last year. And my solution for him being really bad, get this, was he was blowing all the games, and instead of letting him blow high leverage innings, I was like, I should let this guy start.
And here we are.
I will say he played better upon being a starter. He brought that ERA down from like 9 or 10 to near 6. Was not a great season for him. But we have high hopes for this season. Shaken off.
I have high hopes for you.
I think he can be a 2-WAR starter. There's no reason, like he was a 2 to 3 WAR reliever. There's no reason he can't, in more innings, produce. Yeah. We'll see. Luigi Dahl. Swiss Army knife.
The man that could do all. Almost. A splitter, a change-up, slider, curveball, and fastball. Yeah. I can't wait till they put the sweeper in as a another pitch.
Sweeper. Yeah, it's called a slider, isn't it?
Well, isn't it like a slower version of a slider that has more lateral movement?
Yeah. Luigi Dahl, we're going to see if he's anything. I have other guys. There's guys in AAA. I don't love this rotation. I think if you were to slag this team, it's probably the rotation is problematic. It's a real problematic rotation. I just had some old guys like Fernando McCollum and Kyle Perkins just kind of die off a bit here. I don't know. You have those guys and you hope that they can contribute, and then they die off in sprint training. You go, okay, well, good thing I wasn't counting on them entirely. Do-Hyun Lee, I think, is probably the next man up. He almost made the team out of camp. He was a top prospect that we were able to get for our third baseman last year. Don't love trading that guy, but I did. This is a potential impact arm, so I'm letting him figure it out a little bit more in the minors. Hopefully, get some more control or add something to his velocity before coming in. I don't know if there's anybody else that I'm going to have any help from in the minors this year. So the injuries could be interesting. I think having a natural season, with more than 70 games out of Tanaka probably makes a big difference to me.
Yep.
He's going to hurt me in the field, but I think he's going to hurt others with the bat a lot more. I thought Sean Atteridge, I was looking at my lineup, and it was entirely right-handed, except for truck stop Cully. And I looked at that, and I went, yeah, I think I got to prioritize getting a third baseman that might be left-handed. And enter Sean Atteridge. Kind of sucked the last 2 seasons. He's won Silver Sluggers before. Maybe he will again? Question mark. That's not me holding my breath. I don't think he's going to be very good, but there he is. Brian Quinn still here. He was kind of not great last year, but maybe he can be again. There's a lot of that going around. Hey, Gade was injured pretty bad last year, but still hit the ball. He's been hitting very well for years and years and years. 5-time Silver Slugger. I think he's done in the field, though, truthfully. Janenko's really good. He had a really good season last year.
Yep.
Won Silver Slugger, All-Star. I don't know. I think this lineup is still pretty good. Here's the whole thing. Lineup is still really good. Pitching is 40% good. And 60%, I hope it's okay. So
that sounds like the optimism I have every season.
Listen, I have not had to, like, trading Juan Gonzalez kind of put me in a hard spot to maintaining a quality rotation. But it was something I had to do. I have to start moving some of these assets. I know it's a meme that the Gar is going to sell. It's selling. This is actual retooling. Like, I had to retool last year. I was fortunate that I was able to do so in the division without taking a hit there. I don't know that this year is going to be the same, especially like if LA comes out firing, if Suwon 6K's rebrand takes them where they need to go. I think if I'm just throwing it out there this year, I think I go LA, Suwon, Kaliskar, Kirkland. But if at the end of the season Kaliskar were first,
Yep.
I don't think I would. I'd just be like, oh, I guess they were healthy this year. I guess a rookie did something. Like, but yeah, who else we got? Hero?
Yup. I'm not doing the Bears at all.
Okay, I'll do Bears. I think let's start with Zurich. Zurich traded everybody. They traded everybody. They lost like 30 war. They traded effing everybody.
Yep.
They added Fukyun. They traded Avina, Hansen, Wood, Colley, Oda. There's more. They traded so many. They traded 13 guys. There's so many guys that headed out of Zurich that it doesn't reflect. It doesn't even show. Can't fit them all.
That's how much work they've put in.
Shane Hopkins could be fun. I don't know if that's who I'd play in center field just because of the age. I don't know that that's actually who they are playing. But like they definitely have some, like Hurtado's still there. Play some Mad Dog, burn off that contract. How much more has he got? Oh, just this year, then you can walk. Exceptional. He's been okay. He's been fine. It's just one of those things where you're paying a guy $30 million to be an average starter. That's rough. Fukyun seems like he could be good. He was okay last year for Sunnyvale. Seems like more of a DH at this point, but he's definitely got some. Could have some life left in him. I like Havlicek a little bit. I think he's been a really good hitter for Zurich. I think that's a pretty nice DH piece. They still have a good shortstop. Like Dominguez is fragile, and he's not a great hitter, but he's a pretty good fielder. So I mean, like there's still some pieces here. I really like Tony Rojas as a piece. He looks like he could be a real quality, above average starting catcher. Especially now that his defense is getting a little bit better. I think Shane Hopkins one day could be really fun. And they still have, I think Ivan Contreras is the best pitcher in the game.
Yeah,
Stretch. Year to year.
Stretch is by far the best.
The rest of the rotation isn't filling me with joy. This Shay's guy, Zombie, he could be okay though. Like he's had some seasons where he's been, yeah, Zombie was really good one season, and then he's been like good enough to win on a stacked team the rest of the time. But yeah, I don't know. The rotation is obviously going to take a hit when you trade most of the guys in it. The lineup's going to take a hit. I don't know. Did they get hit hard enough that they're not going to win the division?
I feel like the Bears might actually be a competition. You know.
It could go that way. Like, honestly, it could. The Bears added a lot. And
I wouldn't say the Bears added a lot. I would say the Bears are not as bad as as the rest of the division.
fair. But I think adding a reliable arm in Schneider is like you paid for it, but like I don't even think that's a bad contract. Like I was looking at this guy as a discount kind of option. Like if I can get this guy for 10 million to be a 3-4 starter, I'm gonna be laughing. And then the market was like, not so fast. And I was like, oh no, I have to use Luigi Dahl. And that's where that brings us to present.
Yeah. I understand that feeling.
Yep. You also signed Fernando Gonzalez.
Yep. We spoke
1
about.
year, you had to bring him back. He tried to get out. You had to bring him back.
I mean, I need a solid first baseman, so it was.
Yeah, fair enough. Didn't really lose much. But like I think what it might be is also that the Bears are developing guys from within, right?
Yeah.
They've got some players.
It's a progress from years past.
Like Carl Blackwell is getting better and better. That looks like a stud center fielder. Sooner rather than later, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a. I mean, the outfield is very heavy on the Bears.
Yeah, they've been developing some outfielders. They've got some bats actually in the lineup now. Guys like Lee, pretty good. Barajas, pretty good. Like some of them look a little weird for having a permanent home as a position, but like they're good players. And you start looking at these guys like Victor Medina, Victor Perez, Carl Blackwell,
Alex Tobias.
Yeah, exactly. Alex Villa, Oscar Ramirez is the old man there. You know, Juan Pol is great. Love Juan Pol. There's a lot of good players that really make up that lineup, and then it's like, well, what's happening here? And it's like, well, the Bears' rotation is a little susser. I like Sigmund Schneider. I think that's a solid add. I think Jose Mata, you're paying that guy to be kind of a number 4 starter. He'd be better than that.
He wants to play in the bullpen, so I'm letting him stay in the bullpen.
Okay, right. Pedro Parra looks like he's a real boy. Looks like actually a reasonable starter. Where did that come from? Round 14? That seems nice. That's cool.
Well, he gained 50. I sent you an image, didn't I? He gained 15 stuff in the off season. Like, I didn't expect that one. And
so,
that's.
I mean, the Bears are figuring out some arms.
Yeah, and no one expects the Bear developing arms Inquisition.
Seems like some Bear BS to me.
Yeah, about that.
Anyways, I think the Bears might actually win this division.
Oh no, it's all gone wrong now. He said the line.
I said the line. Well, they could win the division.
I can't remember when I've last won a division. 2020 0?
I can't remember the last time the Bears made the playoffs, so
that's
fair.
2042, I think.
Isle of Man. What did they do?
They added quite a few players, if I remember correctly. I think they added some bats, a couple of arms, and pretty decent arms at that as well, to be honest.
I believe Vasquez though left.
Yep, Vasquez left. I remember that. He wanted about 35 million a season or something stupid.
So Sim just came in, and Castlegar is the last place team in the league with a 3-11 record. Just how we drew it up, boys.
Oh, the Bears are 9-4. What an era this is becoming.
I can't handle being both a Leafs fan and a Gar fan.
You try being a Bears fan and a Southampton fan, man.
I don't think the Bears have fans anymore. They're like
Hey, we're not
Arizona Coyotes.
we're not the men now, please.
Yeah, but anyways, it looked like Isle of Man added Jungho Kim. They paid him a lot. He is fragile. but it is it's only 3 guaranteed years. You know, so he's also had a couple solid years in Hannibal. I think that's a reasonable guy. I don't think that's the worst contract in the world. Assuming. I think adding another guy to go with their presumptive ace, Luto, who's wrecked but was really good last year. I think that's probably helps a little bit. Dan Leach, they got in a trade with Kirkland. They they gave up a pretty good prospect to do it, but they were able to add this guy in his arb. Seems like a reasonable proposition. Like, it helps a little bit, right? Every little bit helps, and adding a 2.5 war guy to be in the rotation helps a little bit. So, like, I think I'm seeing some of this come together, right? Visa Lampy is going to break through this team. He looks like an absolute mauler with the bat. Like, there's some pieces to like with the Isle of Man. I don't think that they're top of this division, but, like, they're not bad. They're not a running joke like they have been in some years.
Yeah. I think most of the European division is slowly becoming less of a joke now, which is a wild thing to think about.
Speaking of which, Kyiv, last year had a 400 record. This year they added a pretty good late inning reliever as a free agent. Jesus Verwijmeren. 1 year, 8.5. Hard to hate that. That's team tidy business, baby.
But I think, like, getting a reliever is, like, one of the least needy things.
Yeah, but you know, you got to keep in mind though. What you do is you get a reliever, you build them up, and then you trade them. Right?
Yeah.
So, like, that is, they got a reliever for not that much, who they're going to use to close games, and then they're going to trade him at the deadline for stuff. Like, that's how the game's played.
It's make profits and something.
Mm-hmm. I cannot believe Jason Ladke finally found a home. That guy got traded so many effing times, and he's found a home in Kyiv. He had a really good year last year, like 3.7 RWAR. What do you think? Kyiv or Isle of Man? Who's better?
Isle of Man. I think Isle of Man are actually better than Kyiv right now. And that's something I don't really want to say.
I really like Mel Flores in center field. That's a pretty nice piece. He was a really good center fielder last year. Really like the glove. That's a nice center fielder. I don't think I've ever had a center fielder that looks like that. I've had ones that can hit. I still do, but, like, I don't. Yep. Sure enough, Chris Haas could make it too. That's looking like a blessed pick. I don't know. What, like, hard to say. I'm looking at this team. They got a couple catchers. They've got a third baseman looks okay. Shortstop looks okay. Good center fielder. Eric Marshall looks like he could play left field with some ability.
Yep.
Like, they've got a few guys. Like, the Kyiv rebuild is starting to bear fruit.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't bear more fruits than the Bears, I'm happy.
All right, so we've kind of taken a look at some of these. Like, I think at the end of the day, I'm gonna say New Forest. New Forest, and then a dogfight between Kyiv and Isle of Man, and honestly, Zurich. Zurich having Contreras there still, having a couple of their pieces. Like, I'm not convinced they're not still better than the other two.
Yeah, I think Zurich is still better than Isle of Man and Kyiv. There's no ways about it.
Well, thing is that we'll see how that evens out over time, right? Like, early on, New Forest is kind of taking that on, and anything can happen, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
It's very early in the season, or we're like I'm still at a place where the season hasn't started yet, which is probably not. It is probably disadvantageous to my team's performance if I have to update lineups and things like that. But what do you know? We want to make a preview podcast, and a preview podcast will be made. Damn it! So yeah, I think I'd go Bears and then a blanket over the other three.
Yeah,
At the end of the season, Zurich's in first. I'll be like, word.
Bears had about 5 players injured again.
Very good. I mean, I think last year I had 12, so you can aim for this. You aim for the skies. If you fall short, you're still amongst the stars. I'm just in an inspirational mood now, man.
Give it optimism to the Bears.
Oh, buddy, like I'm so mad about my team. I will just be optimistic. I will be stupid and optimistic. I'm so pissed at these losers. But hey,
I wish I was equally optimistic about my team.
come get these losers and pay me for them? Question mark. Well. Anyways, I think we've done all the divisions, right?
Yep.
Recap. I think I said LA, Suwon, Cascar, Kirkland, Pacific, Central, Minneapolis, Springfield, and then like a dogfight between the other two, Hannibal, Thunder Bay. And we'll get to the inside track for the no one quantity, but Thunder Bay's chaotic. Eastern, Montreal, and then a bit of a gap. And then we're looking at, I think I'd go Kitchener, Chicago, Motor City. But like, again, those three are surprisingly close to one another. I think I like the Zabbies for their volatility a little bit more, perhaps, than I like some others.
Hmm? Yeah, I can see that.
Volatility. For the volatility. Oh, cool. Joel posted the game preview. Castlegar expected to win the division.
Oh, the Bears followed by the men. That's a wild division if I've ever seen one.
Oh, man. The Bears and the Gar projected for the same amount of wins.
That's when you know shit is going down.
Chaotic. I think the Atlantic, I would go, I think I said Halifax, Sunnyvale, but like that's a dogfight. And then I want to say Newfoundland, Cape Breton, but like that's a dogfight too. I think there's a lot of closeness there. And European, Bears, and then whoever rings true in the other group. And then the Asian, I think we said it was very clearly Pyongyang still. Probably Beijing. And then Peking, Shanghai, but like it could flip around a bit there. Like Shanghai is chaotic. And when I say that, I mean like there are teams where you have a very good idea of what their floor is and what they're likely to produce because they have players that produce a certain amount with consistency.
Yeah.
And you have teams that have untapped upside or have made some significant additions or have something cool happen. And like those teams are chaotic. There are chaotic teams in this league. Thunder Bay is chaotic. I think like Cape Breton can be chaotic. Shanghai can be chaotic. The Zabbies are often a chaotic team. You know what you're going to get out of a lot of the Motor City players. You have no idea what you're going to get out of a lot of the Zabbies players.
Yeah.
I think that's a key distinction. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was like, that's a key distinction. Go with it, Bear.
Yeah, it's not like the Asian division where the teams are a roulette on what's gonna happen.
Yep. But there we go. I think we've kind of summarized this as well. We've talked for probably 2 hours.
Yep.
I got to go watch the Leafs lose. You've got to go watch Southampton lose. Everybody's losing. Everybody's down. But hope springs eternal in the RFBL. Sports is pain.
Sports is only pain.
Only pain. If you're not hurting and really sad about it, are you even really a fan? Anyways, thanks again for joining me, sir. It's always a pleasure, and good luck in the coming season. I'm pulling for you. I think that one more piece, and this is the year.
Just one more piece.
One more piece, and a playoff berth cometh.
Farewell, sir.
Godspeed.
This has been the RFBL Report with Bear and Batdowski. To find out more about the RFBL, including stats and history, you can go to statsplus.net/RFBL. To find more episodes of the RFBL Report, you can go to Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Buzzsprout, and YouTube.